Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our series, Learning Buddhism, Understanding Correctly, Practicing Correctly, based on the teachings of Gautama Buddha. Lesson 7, Mindfulness, the Foundation of Observation. In Lesson 6, we explored a very important point. The path to the end of suffering begins with observing ourselves. When we are able to observe, a gap begins to appear between emotion and reaction. Instead of instantly reacting when we feel upset or angry, we begin to see what is happening within us. But there is a very practical problem. You may understand this while reading these lessons. You may completely agree that observation is important, yet when real-life situations arise, things are often very different. When someone criticizes you, when work does not go as planned, when you worry about the future, or when you become irritated by something small, you often forget to observe. Everything happens very quickly. An emotion arises. A thought appears. Then words and actions follow. It all happens almost automatically. Only afterward do we realize that we overreacted, said something we should not have said, or allowed our emotions to carry us away. This is why many people know what is right, but still find it difficult to practice what is right. The problem is not a lack of understanding, it is a lack of awareness in the very moment things are happening. So an important question arises: how do we avoid forgetting? How do we recognize what is happening in our minds at the right moment? That is why today we will talk about mindfulness. This is a familiar concept in Buddhism, but it is often made to sound more complicated than it really is. In simple terms, mindfulness is clearly knowing what is happening at the present moment. When you are walking and know that you are walking. When you are eating and know that you are eating. When you are thinking and know that you are thinking. When you are sad and know that you are sad. That is mindfulness. In other words, mindfulness is the ability to bring the mind back to what is actually happening right now, instead of allowing it to wander into the past or the future. It sounds simple, but if you look carefully, you will notice that much of the time we live without mindfulness. Our body is here, but our mind is somewhere else. Our mouth is eating, but our thoughts are occupied with work. We are driving, but our mind is replaying something that happened yesterday. We are talking to a loved one, yet our thoughts are already focused on tomorrow. Sometimes we finish a task and barely remember how we did it. Life passes by in a series of habitual reactions. In Buddhism, this state is called heedlessness or loss of mindfulness, a lack of clear awareness of what is happening in the present moment. When mindfulness is absent, we live on autopilot. Someone praises us and we feel happy. Someone criticizes us and we feel hurt. We cling to what we like. We resist what we dislike. Everything unfolds as if according to a pre-programmed response. Often we become angry before we even realize we are angry. We worry for hours before noticing that anxiety has been controlling our minds. This is the power of unconscious habit. When mindfulness is present, however, we begin to notice. Ah, I am thinking. Ah, I am worrying. Ah, I am getting angry. Ah, my mind wants to react. This recognition may seem small, but it is extremely important. The moment we recognize what is happening, we are no longer completely identified with the emotion. We are not the anger. We are not the worry. We are not the irritation. We are observing them. And when we can observe them, we gain the opportunity to choose rather than react out of habit. This is the beginning of inner freedom. Not the freedom to do whatever we want, but the freedom from being controlled by unconscious reactions. Imagine a car speeding downhill. If the driver does not realize what is happening, the car will continue moving according to its momentum. But if the driver becomes aware of the situation, they can apply the brakes or adjust their direction. Mindfulness is like the driver's awareness. It allows us to recognize what is happening before we are carried too far away. An important point is that mindfulness is not a special state that exists only during meditation. Many people believe they must sit quietly with their eyes closed or be in a peaceful environment in order to be mindful. In reality, mindfulness is practiced in everyday life. When brushing your teeth, know that you are brushing your teeth. When washing dishes, know that you are washing dishes. When walking, know that you are walking. When listening to someone, know that you are listening. When picking up your phone, know that you are picking up your phone. When preparing to reply to a message, be aware of your state of mind. These ordinary activities provide excellent opportunities to cultivate mindfulness. The more we practice mindfulness in small moments, the easier it becomes to remember it during difficult moments. Just as a person who exercises regularly becomes stronger when physical challenges arise, a person who practices mindfulness consistently becomes more stable when facing strong emotions. Mindfulness becomes especially valuable when emotions arise. Normally, when anger appears, we immediately feel the urge to say or do something. When worry appears, we begin following countless thoughts about the future. When sadness appears, we easily become lost in our personal story. With mindfulness, however, we simply recognize, there is anger. There is irritation. There is worry. There is sadness. There is no need to analyze, no need to resist, no need to force the emotion away. Simply know that it is there. Many people are surprised to discover that this simple recognition already softens the emotion to some degree, not because we force it to disappear, but because we stop feeding it with unconscious reactions. From this awareness, true observation begins to develop. We see emotions arise, we see them change, we see them eventually fade away. Gradually, we understand that emotions are experiences occurring within us. They are not who we are. This understanding forms the foundation of observation. Without mindfulness, we forget and become carried away. With mindfulness, we begin to see. When we see, we begin to understand. When we understand, we react less. And when we react less, suffering gradually decreases. In summary, mindfulness is the ability to clearly know what is happening in the present moment. Through mindfulness, we begin to see our thoughts, emotions, and reactions instead of being swept away by them. This clear knowing is the foundation of observation and the first step toward freedom from deeply ingrained habitual reactions. With that in mind, now I'd like to leave you with a simple exercise.
Hello, everyone. Here is a small exercise you can try today. Choose one very simple activity, such as drinking water, walking, washing your hands, opening a door, or even sitting down in a chair. Whenever you do that activity, slow down slightly and remind yourself, I am doing this. Feel the movements, sensations, and your presence at that moment. Notice the feeling of your feet touching the ground as you walk. Notice the sensation of the water when you wash your hands. Notice the movement of your arm as you lift a glass to drink. There is no need to make the experience special. Simply be aware of what is already happening. If you forget, that is perfectly fine. In fact, noticing that you have forgotten is already a moment of mindfulness. When you remember, simply return. Do not blame yourself. Do not become discouraged. Just return. That too is part of mindfulness. And then take one step further. Whenever an emotion arises, try to recognize it by saying, there is an emotion. Or perhaps, there is irritation. There is worry. There is happiness. That is enough. There is nothing else you need to do. No need to fix it, no need to analyze it, no need to become a calmer or better person. Simply recognize it. Allow yourself to observe the emotion for a few moments without immediately reacting to it. You may begin to notice that emotions come, stay for a while, and then gradually change. This simple observation is the beginning of wisdom. Gradually, you will notice that you are becoming more present, more aware, and more fully engaged with each moment of your life. You may also discover that there is a little more space between what you feel and how you respond. That small space can make a very big difference. And that is the essential foundation for going further on the path of Buddhist practice in the gradual ending of suffering. That is all for Lesson 7. Thank you for returning and taking the time to learn and practice the teachings of the Buddha. I look forward to seeing you again in the next lesson.